Welcome back to another episode of the Self-Care Revolution podcast. I'm your host, Demita, and listen, I'm here to reset my week, all right? Because every week I do a weekly reset. I don't know what's in your weekly reset, but I really like to reflect at the beginning of the week so I can make sure that I'm focusing on the right thing when it comes to my self-care as we go into the week, all right? Because I found that if I don't identify something, then I won't be consistent at anything. Okay. So last week I like to reflect on what I did last week, right? Last week I needed to work on hydration and nourishment. And I will say I did a good 75% of paying attention to that. Now this week I'm also going to focus on hydration and nourishment, especially because this past weekend I drank way too much alcohol. Okay. Yeah, so there's that. But I need to get right back to, you know, eating and drinking things that are beneficial. So what y'all do this weekend? Okay, how was your weekend? What did you do? Did you do anything that, poured into your self-care? All right? Because what else are you doing? Okay, because taking care of yourself, your basic self-care, it helps, it not even helps, but it makes up who you show up as. Okay, so in that same vein, what kind of things are you telling yourself? Because I watched an interview with Emma Grede and Sarah Jakes Roberts, who, by the way, like this morning or yesterday, she had an accident on a trampoline and she is in the hospital. They didn't say what bone she broke, but it sounds pretty serious. So, prayers go out to her. But she did an interview with with Emma Grede, and it was so good. It was a very quick and to the point interview, but it was so good. Like by the time I started watching it, it was almost over, and they were just having such a good conversation. And the main theme that they were talking about was putting yourself first. Because Emma Grede just wrote a book, and it's called "Start with Yourself" or "Start with You," I believe. Um, but she just wrote that book, and basically all throughout the book, it is about the women in business putting themselves first. But like across the board, women need to be putting themselves first, okay? And one of the things she talked about in there was a question of what are you telling yourself? And is it true? Because a lot of times we are putting these building blocks in front of goals that we want to do and things that we want to accomplish, and they are imaginary. You put that there yourself. You put yourself inside that box, okay? And it all goes back to what you're telling yourself, which is why I like to point you to the Daily Five, all right? The Daily Five has the portion where we do your prayer and reflection life. You know what I'm saying? That part is where you got to reflect on what stories are you telling yourself, okay? But what are you telling yourself, and is it actually true, are two different questions. The answer is going to be different, because you should realize that, oh my God, I am telling myself this and it's not even true, okay? The story that is running in our head sometimes is either like working for you or it's working against you, and most people never even try to audit it. All right, so that's what this is all about. The weekly reset is for you to reflect on what you were lacking last week, what you need, and so you can focus on giving yourself that going into the week. Because like I said, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter how much money you have, how much money you don't have. If you are not taking care of yourself, your basics well, who are you going to show up as? How are you going to show up 50% ready? You're going to show up depleted, tired, hungry? Like, no, you need to take care of you first, no matter what, because that everything else relies on that. Okay, putting yourself first is just a structure thing. It's not a selfish thing. It's so that you can be there for other people, so that you can go to work on time, so that you can show up in whatever your passion or career is or whatever. You cannot build on an empty tank. I don't care who you are. All right, so that's really what it's all about for me. And another thing they talked about in the interview was how picking the right partner can like basically affect what you do as well. The right partner should like multiply you and make you feel, like you want to do better and you want to grow, and they should multiply what you already have. The wrong one will drain you. Okay, so definitely pay attention to that as well. And I'm single and dating over 40, and it's kind of weird sometimes to meet these dudes and they are pretty much low effort. But like that just helps me to quickly weed them out because I don't want anybody that's going to drain me. I'm quick to recognize if you're draining me, and we can't have that. All right, you need to be able to multiply your partner and vice versa. Okay. Um, but you also should figure out. This is another thing that Emma and Sarah talked about. Thinking about what you uniquely bring to whatever it is that you're doing. Okay, stop copying people and like take inventory on yourself seriously because there's something about you that is unique to you and no one else has it, and that is what you should use. So that was something good I thought they pointed out or whatever. And then she said that she has a gratitude practice of, she has every morning, and it's basically like a reset. It's not toxic positivity because a lot of people just try to say positive things thinking, oh, I'm going to ignore the situation and just say something positive acting like it's not happening. No, gratitude is actually like acknowledging things that you're grateful for and just doing that on a consistent basis, and it helps you to be aware of more things to be grateful for. It doesn't change like cover up anything that is actually not not a good thing. So have a gratitude practice. Okay, so she said that it keeps you from operating from scarcity. All right, and the last thing I noticed was that she said that excellence starts with honesty about where you actually are right now. Okay, and it doesn't matter whether you're really good at what you do, whether you're just starting or whatever. You need to do the best you can at what it is. Okay, and that is what is going to make you successful. And she also was like, don't let nobody tell you that being an overnight success is the way to go because it's never overnight. There's a lot of hard work that comes to being successful, and basically, it's just being consistent. Okay, so if y'all haven't caught that interview with Sarah Jakes Roberts and Emma Grede, you have to go catch it because it was so interesting. So many gems were dropped. But those were just a few that I took away. But don't take my word for it, all right? But like I said, Sarah Jakes Roberts got into an accident on her trampoline, and prayers need to go up to her. But yeah, like I said, on every week we are doing a weekly reset, and it's just a pause for us to kind of assess where we are with self care and figure out what we're going to do going forward in the week. All right, so you guys get in the comments below. Let me know if you saw the interview that I mentioned above. Let me know how your week was, and let me know what you're going to be focused on in the week ahead. What are you going into the week focusing on? Mine is going to be hydration and nourishment once again. So we're gonna try to make sure we get in all of our water. I'm gonna get some extra cups of tea in, and I got some delicious apples. I got, I always like to get opal apples, but I did get a couple of different varieties this time so I could see how they taste or whatever. I think I got a sweet tango, I got some cosmic crisp, I got some opal apples, and I got a couple golden delicious too. But anyway, that's my focus this week. All right. I'm going to see y'all in the midweek check-in. But for now, get in the comments below. Okay? I'm your girl, Demita. I'll see you guys later. Peace.